I want to provide some instructions about our research paper for this semester. First, let's run through the nuts and bolts of the paper itself. As it says in the syllabus, the length is to be 6 to 8 pages, or about 1,800 to 2,400 words. And use, if you would please, a 1-inch margin on all sides, 12 size font. And just go ahead and use Times New Roman so we're all on the same page and it looks about the same for all the papers. And most importantly, for this paper, whatever your topic is you decide on, and I'll say something more about that on the next page, make sure that you use 5 scholarly resources. Now, what do I mean by scholarly? Well, first of all, the textbooks, which you're free to use, don't count. They're all scholarly, but the textbooks are the textbook. This is a separate assignment. You may use your textbooks for references or even as a source, but you still need to use 5 scholarly resources in addition to textbooks. So what's a scholarly resource? This would be books, journal articles, essays, chapters in books. And the key piece is scholarly, not popular. If you don't know the difference, you can send your bibliography to me and I'll check off on it because you want to use the best resources available. This is a graduate class. This is not some kind of lay-level project. This is to train you to be a biblical scholar in your context for ministry, so you need to be committed to using the best resources, so use 5 scholarly resources that presumably are up to date as well. Now, can you use online stuff? Yes, but to make sure it's scholarly, only use online sources that are essentially electronic versions of print resources. Again, if you have any questions about whether or not you have scholarly resources, simply run your bibliography by me. I'll be happy to help you. Now, what does the paper itself look like? Now, there's obviously a list of topics in the syllabus. Those are suggestive, and you can do something other than that. The key piece for this is that your paper needs to be exegetical, not in the sense that you would do in an exegesis class or an IBS class, but exegetical in the sense that your paper topic has something to do with helping you to understand a biblical text better. So what don't I want? I've gotten papers on the pyramids, for example. Now, that's a good topic if this is a class on Egyptology, but the pyramids really have nothing to do with the biblical text, so that's not the kind of paper that we want to do. So look at the topics in the syllabus and either select something from that or something like that. And again, I would encourage you to run your topic by me. Now, the paper itself, this isn't an overview of a topic. This is an argument for a particular thesis that you want to argue regarding the topic that you suggest. For example, if you notice in the syllabus, one of the samples is the purpose of the book of Jonah. Well, to write that paper, your thesis wouldn't be, this paper is going to discuss the purpose of the book of Jonah. No, your thesis is going to, you're going to research the topic, you're going to realize that there's 2, 3, 4 possibilities. And your thesis would be something like this: the purpose of Jonah is, and you state explicitly what you're going to be arguing for up front in the first paragraph. And then, once you started with that thesis, the rest of your paper then presents evidence that leads the reader, that is me, to reach the same conclusion that you've reached by demonstrating that your thesis is better than alternative suggestions, by discussing and dialoguing with the scholarly literature and reaching the conclusion, which the conclusion is essentially going to be back to your thesis statement. Again, let me know if you have any questions about the paper. I want this to be fun, so pick something that you're really interested in from the Old Testament class, and then do note that the due date is sneaking up on us. It's about 6 weeks away now, so begin to think about what you'd like to write on, and if you need some help with that, again, let me know. Again, I invite you to run your topic by me if you need some help with that. I'll look at your thesis statement, I'll look at your bibliography. All those are really important to do well on this paper, and do note the due date in the middle of August. Again, hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you online.